important session. In terms of the two data sets in the United States, particularly the NOAA data set and the NASA data set, and other climate scientists around the world who've principally used those data sets, have there been any similar questions as the ones that have arisen at the University of East Anglia about scientists elsewhere in the world suppressing data or changing data, as has been accused of the CRU at East Anglia?
Not that I'm aware of. The NASA group have made their data available and their programs.
Yeah.
There have been very closely analogous cases before the last IPCC.
Yeah, what I'm trying to get at is whether, in fact, the furore that's occurred over the email gate scandal, or whatever you want to call it, has there been similar problems as arising out of the NOAA and the other data sets in the States?
But their data is freely available, so there shouldn't be a problem.
But there's yeah, okay, all right. So, can I just very briefly come to you, Professor Acton? What staggered me, if I might be so bold, as to say that what mattered most to you were the reputation and the integrity of UAE is of the utmost importance to us all. That's what you said. Surely scientific integrity is on the world's global leading question should be the greatest integrity. But what seems to be to you is defending the reputation of the University of East Anglia. And have you not miserably failed? A small unit, 3 people working against the odds, with the leading edge of climatology, and you've let them down, and now you're trying to protect the reputation.
Well, I hope we haven't let them down. I'm immensely proud of what they've done. Without them, humanity would be vastly less able to understand climate change. I consider the integrity of science at UEA an unbreakable part of science per se, so I don't see those as alternatives. In my current post, it is a matter of enormous importance, but I think very, very hard about the reputation of UEA. I feel very confident about the long run. I think that the science is robust, and I think for a university still in its first 50 years to have made this seminal a contribution, an enormous achievement, and my colleague to the left is a key contributor to that.
Okay. Dr. Harris?
It just occurred to me that one of the reasons that you might not want to make data available when you publish, or the raw data available, is this, and this may apply in other areas of science as well, because there must be a reason why it's not done other than inconvenience. If you collect all this data and you publish a paper on it, but you've got more work to do, is there an issue about you not wanting to give another group of scientists your data to publish their own conclusions from that data that you have carefully collected as a basis for you to publish work from it? Do you see the point?
Yes.
That you've got a publication record to develop on data you've meticulously accrued?
Yes, but we do put a lot of the data from other papers up on our website.
Right.
So where we can, we put data up, and a lot of data related to projects we're doing. So there's a lot of people access our website for climate data and climate-derived products. So we do as best we can from the resources we have.
Right. So I was going to ask you about the US data sets from the first panel, but I think your recent submission, your late submission that we got recently, I think deals with all the points that they made there, so we'll deal with that in written. The point the first panel made was that transparency and openness was more important than peer review to the integrity of science, and one can get into a philosophical question about this, which I'm not inviting you to do, but there is this question about peer review and the allegations coming from the emails that you somehow were trying to manipulate the peer review process in some way, not you or just you, but colleagues collectively by preventing some people getting published either in journals or included in the IPCC reports. Do you have a response to those allegations?
They relate to 2 papers which were already in the public domain because they had been published. In some of the emails I was just commenting that I didn't think those papers were very good, and I think that would be any scientist who reads a paper would think some papers are good and some papers are poor, and I was just commenting on that.
I wasn't just talking about that, because those are two papers in the IPCC report. I was talking about people who complain that these emails suggest that you tried to get some papers, for example, on alleged research fraud from being published, and the editor of Energy and Environment complained that the emails revealed that complaints were made against her university department, expressing anger about the way that journal had treated in publication, presumably maybe an editorial, some other data. Do you think those are fair criticisms, even with the retrospective scope of private emails being revealed?
On the second one, with the editor of Climate Research, I was just writing to her head of department.
Sorry, I got the editor of Energy and Environment.
Yes, the editor of Energy and Environment who works at the University of Hull.
Yeah.
I was sending an email to her, to him, who's the head of department, about a complaint that she had made about me to the UK Climate Impacts Programme. So I was just responding there. And the other point you made was about, I think it was Dr. Benny Pizer, who was then partly editing a series of papers in Energy and Environment. He asked me to comment on a particular paper, and I sent him some views back that I didn't think the paper was very good. It wasn't a formal review, he was just asking me for my views.
Right, because the Institute of Physics say, and this is quite strong, the CRU emails published on the internet provide prima facie evidence of determined and coordinated refusals to comply with the honourable scientific traditions and freedom of information law. So that's partly, I suppose, coming back to transparency. But what's your view on that? Do you think the emails reveal anything that you think you may be vulnerable on, or are you confident that the emails, if looked at as a whole, will clear you, as it were, in the review? I'm not asking you to forecast the results of the review. I just want to ask your state of mind in respect of this.
I think you have to realise that you've only seen sort of 1/10 of 1% of my emails in this group. But I don't think there's anything in those emails that really supports any view that I'm been trying to, or Crew has been trying to pervert the peer review process in any way.
Right.
Okay. I've just been giving my views on specific papers.
Sure. Okay. On that note, we do have to finish this session. Professor Edward Acton, can we thank you very much indeed, and Professor Phil Jones, thank you very, very much indeed for coming before the committee this afternoon. Thank you. And we're heading for our